Good afternoon, Instagram. This is DayLife Mary, coming to you live from my studio outside with my nice blue wall. And this is the DayLife Mary show, aka the Butter Show, Buttur. And if you're tuning in now, why don't you open up Cash App or PayPal and make a wash in a multiple of 12, paypal.me/washitall, cash.me/$washitall, and buy back some soul on this fine, beautiful, warm day. Now, I have decided that it is time for me to delve into some of the past of me being in DayLife Army, specifically in connection to the story arc of DayLife Army's cancellation and the role Dumb and Dumber played in that. And it's just a way to go through my story of being here through a specific lens. Now, if you remember when I left off, me and the other new recruits who had just come IRL, we were in Phoenix, actually, and we had started to hear some crazy rumors about DayLife Army being sex traffickers. And mind you, at this point, the new recruits were me, who was actually a sex worker before I came to DLA, a former stripper from Queens, and a literal former coke whore. So that was the batch of women who were new recruits who came to DLA, where we were not allowed to do that, and we had stopped doing all that. So for us to hear those rumors, you can imagine we were a bit annoyed, to say the least. And I think I'm going to just tell this story from the perspective I have now, even though it's like I'm not going to go with where I was at each moment. Back then I had no clue why that was happening. I just figured something that calls itself a cult, the internet gossip, the whatever hipster community online and DIY scene is ready for something like that and wants that to be the case, actually, funnily enough. But it turns out this was when our dumb, aka Boom Farrell, former soldier that I described, was kind of resurfacing, planting these rumors, talking about being sex trafficked or human trafficked. And at that time, I did not know that. Now, something to know, and I don't even know how much I care to go into this, because it's not so much my own story, but I will tell you this. From what I had heard about Boom, when the boys had decided to do standards on their own, when they were left to their own devices, kind of after being coached through a bunch of shit and told, go be men, go make this work, go enact standards, go wash belief, they had done all sorts of shit, which included Boom kind of attempting to do some crazy things, like crazy things on Grindr, crazy things in all sorts of ways. And I'll just leave it at that. So Boom could have been up to all, or attempting to be up to all sorts of shit, at no directive of any person in this army. But that was the time of standards. And it's an insult to anyone who has actually done any sex work of any type. Boom is an insult to those people. I'm just going to leave it at that. Anyways, so fast forward a few months, it's post announcement of the coronavirus reality. And Tinkerbell, aka Dumber, has resurfaced trying to be friends with me in the DMs, after being a total dick, not acknowledging it. Now, let's fast forward again after that. It's now spring 2020. The IRL crew, which at that point was me and, Jesus and Tom. I won't even say everyone's names. It was just about like 4 or 5 of us, and we were IRL doing our thing. Me and 3 others were camping all over for a few months. I was People's Sergeant Major, meaning that Jesus and Wiko were off on their own, but I was like in charge of everyone else. This is an army. I had received rank where that was my responsibility, and I was a receptacle, like anyone who's been in the actual army might know from being a sergeant major. I was the receptacle of like hate. People could bond over hating me and being, me running things, being in charge. And doing the camp life, things were not easy. And let me see this part. So this was like, the camping thing was happening probably, living on the road, we were in a Corolla, we were hopping around a lot of Florida, a lot of other places. It was probably from like late February, early March to about May. And that's the longest I had ever camped. And towards the May month, the 2 half black bitches that were here, that were both here for love, and both really not excited about camping, not excited about a lot of things. There was this time right before they decided to leave that I wonder if Dumb might have been whispering in their ear or sending them a message or something, or they just had, some kind of feeling beforehand that things were about to get a little crazy, that something was coming. And through a lot of other reasons, and I'm not even going to get into that part of the story because it's not time for that, they left dramatically through their own decisions, deciding to leave in the night or whatever, drive away in the middle of the night. And what must have been weeks later, Boone resurfaces from the gutter he was hanging out in at the time, and he has been living it up in Brooklyn. I believe he had moved to Brooklyn by then, and he had gone through some sufficient brainwashing from, and at DayLife Army, we're pretty clear and concise in the language we use. We are a cult. You will be reprogrammed from your pain matrix brainwashing, and you'll get some new brainwashing, follow some new standards. You're reprogramming your brain. Brains run on programs. Humans run on programs. We're human computers. The original computers. But anyways, so he was getting his brain washed by this guy, Steve Hassan, the real cult expert. His parents, who have their own interesting history, had found him the paramount expert in cults to basically get him back in the Pain Matrix program and help him properly figure out what had happened to him and how to frame it and what was happening and going on during his tenure here. And so that's a little background on what was going on with him from what I knew at the time. And what dropped shortly after the other woman left was the Pain Matrix Instagram account. Great account, still up. I encourage you to check it out. Pain Matrix on Instagram. And I want you to remember the name Steve Hassan. You could even look him up too. But what was to follow was a summer where things really got quite interesting. And I don't really like to use that word, but we have this Pain Matrix Instagram account starting up, and it's like, Boom has been, by the way, completely silent and kind of off, not very active on social media. At least I wasn't paying attention, and Tinkerbell had been the only person who was around, kind of annoying people or reaching out or resurfacing here and there. And so Boom came back with a little bit of pizzazz, which is as he would. And he's starting this kind of like account to fight and take down DayLife Army, and we're starting to get more of the audience of people that have been around from mostly like the queer underground, nightlife, DIY, hipster artist scene. And very much DayLife Army was a large audience, for better or for worse. And I personally just have to say that in my experience, the most Pain Matrix brainwashed people, who are the least have the least like individuality, the least like capable functioning of like thinking for themselves, or the most like they're the most easily brainwashable people by the Pain Matrix, that is, are artists and the DIY scenes, the underground. And so that audience is growing larger, the kind that, thinks that DayLife Army is sex traffickers or human traffickers or evil and keeping people like in cages, in basements, etc. And Boom starts getting really into like reaching out and kind of trying to bomb with a bunch of content, tagging me, DMing me, picking apart everything I'm posting, doing breakdowns on his Instagram page of how I'm brainwashed, lying on my name, basically putting all these things within this like super sensationalized context and divorcing everything from context while putting in blatant lies, and also just like he's good at PR. He's like too good at PR. It's interesting why it's, in hindsight, a lot of things make sense that I did not know at the time, again. But he's kind of like an honorary white woman, and white women are who run the Beast System's PR, and they are the people who have constantly come for DayLife Army and tried to cancel DayLife Army, because what would Satan's PR do but try to cancel something that is not serving it inside the Pain Matrix, something that is outside, in direct conflict or opposition. I wouldn't say conflict, in direct opposition to the principles that the Pain Matrix works so hard to maintain, and works so hard to make sure everyone inside the Pain Matrix keeps serving that master and maintaining it themselves. And if you don't, the PR machine is right there, ready to cancel you, ready to try and take you out of your context and put you into theirs. And so this is at the point in time where I'm starting to kind of experience these things in real time, because I'm having my story and my reality taken and recontextualized and lied on and told to serve someone else's agenda that is working for an agenda at the time I did not even know the scope and reality of. And like I said, remember Steve Hassan, remember the Pain Matrix IG account and how it was started and being made, and what I thought, which was it was just Boone doing his thing because he was all kinds of shit, being kicked out of something, angry, trying to be close to it and connect to it through invulnerable methods of hate and takedown, etc., as a way to like still have some type of relationship to it. Getting cut off from pleasure matrix supply hurts. It is hard. Everyone who is cut off from it, whether like quitting on their own or being asked to leave, when it gets too hard, the response is quite similar, a little different based on archetypes and peoples and bloodlines, etc., that decide to quit. Everyone reacts differently according to their program, but in general, it's pretty predictable. Hell, it's predictable how I would act, and like I can literally see how it would happen. But Boone got a 1-0 Medium article. If a white woman left this and lived in the Pain Matrix, it'd be like a New York Times article, which we joke about here all the time. So I didn't even talk about the article yet. I just started talking about the Pain Matrix Instagram account. And he would Boone would allude on the account like something big is coming, like you gotta just wait. And I don't even remember, I think this was before, I can't remember if it was before or after the article dropped, but there is one, and for the people who really follow the lore, here's a little journey for you to go on. Jesus and I took a video of me being denied orange juice and him throwing it away and yelling at me or something, and we had the beginning and the end where it was kind of shown clearly that it was staged, cut off, and we posted the clip during Pain Matrix's era of taking everything we'd posted and putting it into that narrative or something. And so Boom is not very smart, hence Dumb and Dumber, the both of them. So he he took the bait very easily. He took that clip and was see there, Mary's being constantly degraded and forced to serve in something. I don't remember exactly. The post is still up, so you can look at it. And then we released the full clip when DayLife Army's Instagram page was still active and under DayLife Army control. It has since been taken, and you can also check out that on Instagram. Taken from someone, another disgruntled former soldier, to be clear. So something big is coming, apparently, according to Boone. It's summer. Me and Jesus are dealing with that kind of attention. He's getting canceled way harder and way more, because you can't really cancel a white woman. Wico's getting canceled. They're the evil perpetrators. And I think I'm gonna leave it there. Part 3, I'll go into the article drop of the summer and what followed, basically. And I am so impatient. I always want to get to the end of the story as soon as I'm starting it. But the wrap-up of all this is just recontextualizing what was happening and why this cancellation was happening and at the behest of who. So just a quick teaser. So once you watch all of this and get to the end, you'll be able to figure out more of why that happened and what my little reveal is. But that's it for now. Just a short one. Cash.me/$washitall, paypal.me/washitall. Make a wash. For those of you who do not know, washing is how the DayLife Army expands the pleasure matrix reality. It is how you as someone living in the pain matrix, sacrifices your ego and washes your belief out of that pain matrix into pleasure matrix expansion, and through that process, how you gain back access to your soul, which you do not have access to if you live in the pain matrix, just to let you know. The places you store belief are primarily in your financial capital, your social capital, your time, other places, but most are, to start, you can wash financial and social capital. You can DM me if you want to know some social washes that I can give you to do. And what I'm most concerned about today is financial washing. I have my immediate goal to make is 360. So make a wash of 24% of your current holdings if you need a litmus about where to start. And that is it for today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and stay frosty.